I've had a lot of new subscribers and followers recently, so in this video I want to talk through my story and why I do what I do. Now, I held back parts of my story for a long time, for going over a year. I didn't want to put myself out there, but I feel like as time has gone on, I've been able to show up more as myself. So I shared this video 6 months ago, which was my first proper video on YouTube talking to camera. I had done the shorts, the reels, the short videos for a long time, but I felt like I wanted to go deeper on the topics that you can't really go that deep into on a 60-second video. That one was a big release initially, just talking about things that had gone on in the past with Toby, which I'll get onto, and kind of my journey growing up and getting to where I was at that point. Then there was this other video that I put out 3 months ago talking about my own health struggles that I've been dealing with the past 18 months, going back sort of 2 years now, that I'm still working through, that I'm still dealing with. Again, I'll get onto that. But in this video, I want to go into the full unfiltered story behind why I do what I do, and I want to keep it as unscripted as possible. So going back to me growing up, going through school, I was definitely never the most popular kid. I was very, very insecure. Never really had the confidence to put myself out there. I always held back, in classes I would never put myself out there. I'd always just stay quiet, hide in the corner back of the room. And obviously back in school, you're so concerned and worried about status, and I knew that I was never the most popular kid. I wasn't the least popular, but yeah, I just never had any kind of confidence in myself just to put myself out there. I always felt kind of going back through school and even going through college and beyond, I felt like I was wanting to push myself and do the best that I could, but just seeing so many people around me that just didn't have that same kind of mindset, and that kind of in a way dragged me down. When everyone around you is not doing what they could, doing as much as they could to get good grades, that kind of made me not want to try as much as I could. But yeah, in general, back in school, zero confidence, very shy, didn't talk at all. And that version of me would never have imagined that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, talking to camera every single day and doing long form videos like these now. But something that probably played into me not wanting to put myself out there going back through school was, it started with Toby's diagnosis when he was 9. Now, Toby, for those that don't know, he's my brother. Around the age of 9 or 8 or 9, we noticed changes in his behavior. Now, up till the age of when he was about 9, he was a fit and healthy lad. We had a pretty normal upbringing. We had that classic brother to brother relationship. Around when he was 9, we started noticing little changes in his behavior, little changes in his handwriting, just things at school that weren't right. So yeah, Mum and Dad took him to get checked for a brain scan. We knew that something wasn't right, so we had a brain scan, and they picked up something called adrenoleukodystrophy. This was, I think he had an initial scan at the local hospital, went off to Bristol to have a proper scan, and yeah, they found this condition called ALD, adrenoleukodystrophy, which is a terminal degenerative brain illness. Now, it's very rare. They told us at the time that he only had 12 to 18 months to live. Now, I was 11 at the time. I don't know if I fully comprehended the whole situation, what that actually meant, being told that your brother has this terminal illness and only has this long to live. I guess at the time there's an element of you don't fully believe it, or it's hard to internalize that reality. But that was definitely, I think, a big turning point, definitely for us as a family, in terms of it makes you, when you have such a short time limit, when you're told that someone so close to you only has this long to live, it definitely brings life into sharp focus, that you have to make the most of every second and make the most of any opportunity that you have to go out and do things, which is exactly what we did the few years after that. We did so many different things, and were given so much support by the people around us, because we just didn't know how long we had like with him, so we just had to make the most of that time. And that's when we had the trip to Barcelona with Make-A-Wish. We trying to think, but there's so many different things that we did within that time just to make the most of it. And there was that kind of like steady decline in his health, with losing the ability to walk, losing the ability to talk, to be independent. So now he's in a wheelchair, he's fully dependent. He's got 2 to 1 carers with him in the day, 1 to 1 carers with him at night. So he's, non-verbal. He doesn't, like, can't eat himself. He can't, like, really communicate. We can, like, sort of communicate with him, but yeah, there was quite just a general steady decline across a few years. But fortunately, the past few years, generally, he's been like fairly stable. There are always like things that come up with his health that mean he's off to hospital now and again for different things and stuff that he's got to overcome. But he just always seems to make it through. And going back through school at that time, I almost didn't want people to like know that my brother had issues like that. I don't know why, but yeah, back at that time, I remember I wanted to be just like the normal kid. I just wanted to fit in, just to be like everyone else. Again, it's that status thing in school where you just want to be like the same, just like you want people to like respect you. And I just felt like with what Toby was going through, I just didn't want people to know. But the other side of that was after his diagnosis, obviously I'm his brother, they had to test me because it's a genetic thing. They had to test me for the same thing. So that was March that he was diagnosed. In May, I think it was May of that year, that I went off to, it might have been May or it might have been sooner, that I had to go to Bristol to have the same brain scans that Toby had. For some reason, when they looked at my scan, they found that I had the exact same condition, but they call it arrested, where the condition was there in my brain, but for whatever reason it had arrested, it had stopped developing. This might have been something before I was born, it might have been something when I was really young, but the condition just didn't develop in my brain, which from what I know, I'm very fortunate to like be in the position that I'm in, because if things had worked out differently, I could be in the same position as Toby. So kind of knowing that right from the start kind of like drove me to think that when I have this opportunity now of my health, I have to use it, because seeing what Toby went through in that gradual decline, like, just made me really, really conscious of the value of having your health and being able to use it, and like having the opportunity just to live life like a normal person. But anyway, I had the test for that. Nothing was there with that. But there's something that's linked to it, called, because it affects, I don't know what systems it affects, but there's a condition that people with the gene can pick up something called Addison's disease, which is where your body doesn't naturally produce cortisol. So this is again something that I had to have tests for after the initial brain scans, and yeah, they found that I have something called Addison's disease, which, like I said, your body doesn't produce cortisol. It can be, if it's like not treated, it can be fatal, because obviously like you need cortisol to survive. There's a lot of talk about how like cortisol is bad for you, but if your body isn't producing it, then that's also not good. So they tested me for that, and yeah, I started treatment for the Addison's. Supposedly with Addison's, your body isn't good at like tolerating high intensity exercise or stress and other things. At the time, I felt like my health was completely fine. And I started taking this hydrocortisone medication, and I don't know if it was just the process of like getting used to it, but I felt awful for such a long time. When I started taking these meds, I just felt like nauseous, and I don't remember it fully, but just I felt better before I started taking the meds compared to after them. So I thought, do I really need them? Like, did they just do the test wrong or something? Did they mess something up? And yeah, so I started treatment for the Addison's. and that's still something that I deal with now. So I'm still on the meds now. It's been managed. Fortunately, it doesn't affect me really day to day. I have to increase the dose if I'm doing like high intensity exercise or anything strenuous, or if I'm ill, I have to increase the dose because obviously it's making up for what my body can't produce. But back in school, I didn't want people to know that I had something like this. Like with the condition, you're meant to wear a medical ID wristband in case of emergency. I need a like steroid injection in case, say, I broke a leg or was under like high stress or had a like bad flu. I'd need a steroid injection, so I was meant to wear this wristband. But it sounds so silly, but I didn't want to wear like a wristband like that. I didn't want people to see that there was something like different about me. So yeah, it took me a long time to come to terms with that, and generally just for most of the way through school, I just felt like I couldn't put myself out there. I was trying to hide. I just very shy, very insecure, and I guess that kind of like leads into the thing of like kind of with my own fitness. I didn't start properly in the gym until 2021. Now this is when I was in college, but yeah, through school as well. Like, I just felt like I was just skinny and just never really like happy with the way that I looked, which again played into that insecurity, played into the thing of like not wanting to put myself out there. And yeah, it wasn't really until college I started working in, like started doing little bits in the gym. I'd seen people online talking about it. I thought, just give it a go. And yeah, that's kind of where the whole journey started. I know for like a lot of my journey, like the first 1-2 years, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just messing around, trying things, and just trying to work on myself. That kind of comes up to the time now, finished college, then going into uni, study sports science, not really knowing throughout this whole time where I wanted to go with my life. But yeah, did college, went to uni, got to the end of my degree, not knowing where I wanted to go. So I decided to qualify as a personal trainer, as a fitness coach. A lot of doubts at the time. I didn't think that I was ready for it. I felt like I wasn't, I mean, looking back, was I really in good enough shape to be a fitness coach? I don't know. I just doubt myself all the time about whether I was ready or not. I went for it anyway. I thought, why not just try it? But I just found like the gym just gave me this place where you can just go, you can focus, you can, regardless of what else is going on in life, you can just focus in on just improving something. And definitely with what Toby had been through, that was a big driver for me in terms of like wanting to work on my own fitness, wanting to help other people work on theirs. When you see someone that's so close to you that can't do that, and that knowing how working on your health, your fitness can improve the other areas of your life, that's kind of what drove me. So those doubts were there for like a long time, if this is the right thing for me. But I went for it. And I think it's because I was driven by that deeper why. I knew why I wanted to do it, and I suppose that's why I'm here now. I've been posting every single day for like months, for like a year, and that's kind of the big why behind everything that I do. And I've always believed, like, if you do anything, you don't have to be the best, and like necessarily it's, if you can do the simple things right day to day, you don't have to be the most talented, the most whatever. If you just do the basic simple things day to day over a long period of time that most people won't do, then you can like get ahead and succeed at most things. And that's kind of what's carried me through my whole journey up until now. And it's that compound effect. You just do the small things day to day, and it can grow like way beyond whatever, like what you might imagine. That might apply to like your business, your career, whatever you're working on. And even with your fitness, just doing just the simple things daily, they stack up, it compounds. And anyway, I've lost my train of thought, but more recently, the past 18 months to 2 years, I knew that there were issues with my own health. I suppose again this plays into the time when I started becoming a fitness coach. Is it right for me? Could I do it? Is that 18 months to 2 years ago, I started noticing changes in my own health that I knew wasn't right. Now, a couple of things I've spoken about fully in that other video. Go and watch that other video that I did back in December, which was the first time that I'd let all of that stuff out. But I'll briefly explain it here. Issues firstly with testosterone, which I knew, like going back to the end of uni, like, you know, as a guy when your testosterone levels aren't right. And I knew that for the longest time there were issues there, but didn't want to address it. And then secondly, with my walking, with my gait. Now I knew that the way that I was walking just didn't feel right, going back again, same sort of time, 18 months to 2 years. And I suppose the big thing with that is that, I suppose two sides of it. Like, I didn't want to confront that, because knowing what Toby had been through, knowing that genetically it's linked, I didn't want to confront it and accept that the possibility of there being an underlying condition there. But there was also the thing of, when I tried to build myself as a fitness coach, and then knowing that these issues, something is not right, something is going on, but I was fearing that if I kind of opened up and spoke about that it kind of like harms my reputation as a fitness coach. Like, I'd been working on my own fitness for ages, trying to build muscle, trying to get bigger, just get into better shape, and I just felt like for so long it was just so hard. And obviously, when you're restricted by lower testosterone levels, naturally it's going to be harder to build the muscle. But yeah, I didn't want to share those struggles for ages. And it wasn't until December last year, that video that I put out was literally a few days or few weeks after I first spoke about it with mum and dad. Then I went to my GP and spoke about it more fully, because he kind of like knows the backstory with Toby and with myself, what's kind of happened. And then I made that video because I felt like I had to share all of my struggles publicly. I couldn't just go around to everyone individually and tell them that what I've been struggling with. I just thought I'd been bottling things up for so long, and getting that video out felt like the biggest release. It was just such a massive release that I'd been bottling things up for so long, and now that they were out there, I wasn't carrying this kind of like burden on me anymore. And in general, like, since that video has gone out, I felt so much better. I feel now like I can show up fully as myself in these videos, whereas before I felt like I just wasn't being myself. I was creating this, like, trying to create this persona. But more recently, I just feel like, I can now just speak about anything, and like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, the worst case scenario is never as bad as you think that it is. But since I've opened up about that, since I've been working with a physio to help with the walking, since I've been seeing my endocrinologist, I've been on treatment for the testosterone, everything has got better. And I feel glad that I've now taken ownership of it, taken responsibility, and now working with my own fitness coach to try and just work on control what I can, which is what I've spoken about a lot recently, where whatever issues you have going on with your own health that are outside of your control, just accept it, but just work on the things that you can control, because there's so much more that you can do than you think, even if you're held back by certain things. And definitely on the physio side of it, like what I've been working on with strength, like lower body strength, it's definitely helped the symptoms that I was experiencing for ages. So there's always things that you can work on, but I guess like the first thing was just getting it out there, sharing the struggles, which I didn't want to talk about for so long. Again, the worries about like how it impacts status, and the way that people perceive you, and how my worry was there that if I open up about it, is that going to change the way, like, is that just accepting the way that things are? But everything has been so much better since I released all of that. And that kind of brings me to where I am today. So obviously still working on a lot of things, but it's so nice now that those things are out there, that I can just I have something to focus on. I know that things that I'm working on are improving, and it's nice. But I know, like, as a coach, you have to be taking ownership and responsibility for your own things. It would be hypocritical of me to try and be helping all these, like, a load of other people, but then not doing what I can for myself, which is now where I feel like I am doing that. And I just feel at the moment, in terms of what I'm doing with both, like, in person and online, the coaching, I just feel so in alignment with the work that I'm doing now, because I feel it just all ties in together. People talk, like, you'll hear about your purpose, your ikigai, your reason for being, and I feel like what I'm doing with my work and doing all the content and all that stuff is just living out my purpose based on what I've been through growing up, based on what Toby's been through. I just feel grateful to be in the position that I'm in, to have the opportunity that I have. And yeah, that's why I'm a coach. And obviously, like, with fitness, one part of it is looking good, which is kind of like what I'm working on at the moment. But beyond that, fitness and just working on your health is so much more than that. It's your confidence, it's your mental health, it's all the other benefits that it brings to your life. It's massive. So my mission is to help people use the health that they have while they have it, and just live as fully as they can, because I know what it's like when you're not happy with how you look, you're insecure, you're worried about what people are thinking, and it's such a massive, when you know that you're controlling what you can, you're doing what you can to improve your situation, and then you get the results from it. It's the best feeling. And I recognize that I'm still young. I was, like, worried about putting myself out there publicly online for the longest time. I felt like who was going to listen to me? Why would anyone listen to me when, like, I look young anyway? Like, why is anyone going to listen to a young guy like me talking to people like twice my age? But that's my story. That's why I do what I do. I know that what I do isn't going to be for everyone, but I just trust that now that I'm putting myself out there fully, that it will resonate with the right people. So if you did want to learn more about working with me, I'll put a link in the description to a form. But if not, even if you just want to, like, follow along with my journey, with the things that I'll be sharing, because there's so much, like, day to day, week to week, that I just keep on learning about myself and just about the world. So hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Again, I'll put that form in the description if you want to learn more about working with me. But yeah, thank you for sticking around to the end. I don't know how to end this video, but yeah, I will catch you in the next one.